Hi, intro students. I want to introduce your assignment 7. This week, we're going to be doing a couple assignments that are pretty active and are going to reference a lecture on surrealism in general, but I'm going to have you do a couple assignments that one will get you out into the world in a significant way, and I'll explain the other in a minute. But they're both due week 7, day 3, which is our Sunday due date. This one is called Assignment 7 Derive, which is a French word for that translates to adrift. It comes from a movement that came out of a group of people, but the most influential was this gentleman named Guy Debord, who created a movement called the Situationist International. He's a kind of a theorist who was thinking about the city as something that influenced us or conditioned us psychologically. And so in what they called psychogeography, a derive is an unplanned journey through a landscape, usually urban. And so you'll notice at the top here is an image here of Harper's campus, an aerial view, and overlaid on this is a contour line drawing of a snake. Okay, and that's derived from a famous image of Paris here that the Situationists used, where they used actually an image of a chopped up snake, which had some symbolism we won't dive into too heavily, but a lot of this comes out of a time period where there's rising suspicion post World War II, and a general sense that we needed to reorient ourselves to understanding the impact our institutions, our governments, and so on and so forth have been having on us psychologically. So what you're going to do first is you're going to create a layered map of your own. You're going to print out a map of your neighborhood. I would suggest going to Google Maps or any type of map app, zooming to a comfortable distance, somewhat like this, something walkable. Okay, and then you're going to either digitally, like I did, or drawing directly onto this printout of this map. I want you to create a contour line drawing of an object or an animal. So it could be, a teacup, or I've had in the past a camera, or a landscape of Chicago, so on. Whatever it is, but it's got to be a line drawing. Make certain the drawing is large enough to cover your map, and see that image above the snake over Harper. What you're going to do is you're going to follow the map as if you're playing a few roles, but you're going to follow the map, but you're going to follow the lines rather than the typical street or constructed walkways. Okay, so you're going to try to stay as true as you can to your line drawing as your navigation tool over a certain specified area. So you'll have a start and a finish, and you can determine where that is. But in general, the derive was this idea of an unplanned journey. So this start and finish was kind of headed in a direction based on something unconnected. Okay, so you're going to play during this navigation, you're going to play a role as a navigator, someone who uses this map, an observer, someone who's going to observe things that normally you don't question but wonder about. Okay, this is where we're going to get to this idea of an authentic experience. So one of the things here, psychogeography was defined in 1955 by Guy Debord as the study of the precise laws and specific effects of geographical environment, consciously organized or not, on the emotions and behaviors of individuals. And so Another definition is a whole toy box full of playful, inventive strategies for exploring cities. Just about anything that takes pedestrians off their predictable paths and jolts them into a new awareness of their urban landscape. A lot of this had to do with this desire to seek out an encountering an entirely new and authentic experience, right? Something that was not generated or conditioned for us. So you're going to observe things that you normally don't question but wonder about. And as a recorder, you're going to, you're going to reflect on what signs and symbols you encounter along your journey. So I want you to take notes, right? You're going to either take notes either in written form as you're doing this journey or drift, or you're going to take photographs, okay? Now, one of the things, excuse me, why is it doing that? There we go. Let's see if it'll let me, it's acting weird. There we go. You're gonna, here are some examples of things I'd like you to pay attention to. You're gonna use architecture or things that are using architecture incorrectly, like, for example, this architecture, this is a pole used as a trash can, or a electrical switch cover as a trash can in the subway. These are some that I have found, or trying to shove a cup into a trash can at Harper. Utility marks, construction utility, things that are using a language that is specified but not known to you, possibly. So color, arrows, those kind of things. Desire paths are a good one, right? So this is the path that is laid out and conditioned or constructed in this kind of built environment for us, but this is the actual path that people want to take. These are really interesting. They're all over Harper if you've been around long enough. When these get generated, eventually they turn into a constructed path. They call this desire paths in architectural studies. And then here, social signifiers. I link to a project that I've done in the past where I was really interested in things that get elevated, that are lost. And so this kind of social cue in certain areas where people elevate lost objects to eye level so they can be seen again, right? So this is kind of a social rule of sorts. So these are some examples, but obviously you can be open to more if you'd like. And what you're going to do third, you're going to create a Loom video response. When you've completed the drift, share your authentic experience with me. This can be relatively quick and short, or it can be extensive. You can share images and videos if you took them, and some of your thoughts, right? Now, one of the things that comes up often when I've done this in the past is students question how true they should stay to the image on the map. I'm going to leave that up to you, but I want you to see if you can stay true to it. It's a challenge. That means that if you come up against an obstruction, what do you do, right? Do you go through that obstruction? Do you try to go around it and meet that line again? Or do you give up, right? So those are things that I want you to navigate and negotiate. And we'll try to fit this into this kind of larger question of our shift from modernism into what we're going to be going toward, which is postmodernism. All right, I hope you have fun. Of course, be safe. Wear a mask if you are in any way in the public, in contact with people. Keep your social distance, all of that, of course. Okay.